Good morning. I'm going to call to order this regular meeting of the Zoning and Planning Committee for Thursday, June 13th. My name is Jeremy Schroeder, and I'm the chair of this committee. With me at the dais are Councilmember Wright, Councilmember Goodman, and Councilmember Gordon. Let the record reflect that we have a quorum. We have 7 items on today's agenda, and to include 2 public hearings regarding interim use permit applications, and we'll begin with the consent agenda, which is items number 3 through 7. Number 3 is the rezoning application submitted by Daniel Oberpiller for the property located at 1121 4th Street Southeast. Number 4 is the rezoning application submitted for the property at 1717 2nd Street Northeast. Item 5 is the rezoning application submitted by DJR Architecture for the property located at 3025 East Calhoun Parkway. Number 6 is regarding an alley vacation application submitted by the Red Lake Nation for several addresses on Cedar Avenue South and 22nd East 22nd Street. And number 7 is the street vacation application submitted by Midtown Corner LLC for 27th Avenue South between 29th Street and Lake Street. Are there any questions or comments from committee members on any of these items, or would anyone like to pull anything off for discussion? All right, not seeing anything, I'd like to move number 3 through 7 for approval. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. We'll now move on to number 1, which is the public hearing regarding an application for an interim use permit at 4050 and a half Washington Avenue North for allowing a towing service, and we'll begin with the staff presentation.
Morning, Chair, Council members. The application before you is located at 4050 and a half Washington Avenue North. The applicant is seeking an interim use permit to allow for a towing service for up to 2 years. There is an existing tow service at 4040 Washington. This includes both the existing structure and parking lot along the right-of-way. The applicant is seeking to convert the rear portion 4050 and a half into a tow lot that would store towed vehicles as well as empty recycling bins. They are proposing an apron that is the access point to the site, as well as new Class 5 gravel, as well as 6 arborvitae that block the parking lot along the right-of-way. The staff is able to make all necessary interim use findings. I'll be here for questions. The applicant's also present, but with that, we recommend approval of this request.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff? All right, thank you. I'll now open the public hearing and want to give the applicant, if they're here, an opportunity to speak. Is the applicant here to speak? All right, if not, I'll open up the public hearing. Anyone like to speak on this matter? Anyone else like to speak? All right, not seeing anybody. The hearing is now closed, and I'll open it up for discussion. Not seeing any discussion, I will move for approval item number 1. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. I'd like to note for the record that we've been joined by Councilmember Ellison and Council President Bender. Our next public hearing is regarding the application for an interim use permit at 4530 Lindale Avenue South to allow 2 portable classrooms in a temporary structure. And we'll begin with the staff presentation.
Good morning, Chair Schroeder and committee members. Before you this morning is a request for an interim use permit to allow temporary classroom building at 4530 Lindale South for up to 3 years. The property is a large lot occupied by a 2-story school building with a 47-space parking lot to the south and a paved outdoor play area to the north. The property is currently occupied by a charter school, Stonebridge World School, which has been in operation of the property since 2008. Stonebridge is currently working on a plan for an addition to the north side of the school, which is anticipated to be completed for the 2022-2023 school year. We haven't yet received land use applications for that at this time. While addition is being planned and constructed, the applicant is proposing to place a temporary modular building on the site to the north and west of the existing school building. The temporary building would contain 2 classrooms and 2 single-use restrooms, and would be connected to the school by a raised and covered ADA-accessible walkway. Replacement of an existing retaining wall and landscaping along the west property line is also proposed to accommodate the walkway. The applicant is requesting an exception to the rear yard setback as part of the interim use permit. And that would be to allow the walkway 5 feet from the west property line rather than the 7 that would normally be required. Staff finds that the request is reasonable, considering the need to provide a safe, accessible connection between the temporary building and the school, while also avoiding blocking egress from the rear of the school building. Staff also finds that the presence of existing fencing and garages along that west property line and the proposed landscaping will effectively mitigate any impacts of that exception. So staff is recommending approval of the interim use permit with an expiration date of June 13th, 2022, with basic conditions related to the maintenance of the temporary building and the landscaping along the west property line. Happy to address any questions. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Are there any questions for staff? Not seeing any. Thank you very much. This time I'd like to open the public hearing and open it up first to the applicant, if they are here and want to speak. If you could state your name and address for the record.
Chair Schroeder and council members, good morning. I'm Paul Gates, 2 East Franklin Avenue, Minneapolis 55404. I'm an architect working with Stonebridge School on their expansion plans. Stonebridge is a charter school that was founded in 2007, moved to this site in 2010, purchased the property in 2014. Has been chartered as a K through 8 school, has historically operated as a K through 6 school, has been finding that families don't want to separate their pre-high school children into multiple schools, and so this past year added a 7th grade classroom and are now proposing to add an 8th grade classroom. Plans are underway for expanding the school to the north into the existing space on the property to the north. We're probably 2 years out from starting construction and then needing a 3rd year for the construction. And so in the interim, the proposal is to put a temporary classroom building on the west side. I think staff did a pretty good job of explaining what the intention is, so I won't go further into that, but if there are any questions, I'll be happy to take them.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions? All right, not seeing any. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I also want to see if anyone else was interested in speaking. Anyone else? All right, not seeing anyone, I'm going to close the hearing and see if there's any discussion among my colleagues. I'm not seeing any. I will move to approved item number 2. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. And seeing no further business before this committee, we are now adjourned.